Michael, we'll start off with some good news, progression in the EFL Trophy without having to kick a ball in midweek.
Yeah, that's great news with the result with Man United and Notts County, so that's good. But we've got that next week. It'd be nice to finish top of the group because you get a good home draw as well. But I think, pleased in getting through that cup.
Let's get an injury update on the two players that went off. You seem to think with the Freddie Draper situation, nothing too major.
No, Freddie's good. Freddie's back in training, which is good news. So that's good. With a couple of we've picked up a couple of other injuries through training the last couple of days. So I don't want to give anything away there in personnel, but yeah. So Halsey's going to be next couple of weeks probably, but maybe a week, maybe a bit longer. But we've got one or two that have picked up a few knocks this week, so let's wait and see on them as well.
But it perhaps gives you a chance to put some of those players that impressed, albeit in that defeat, but a chance for them to show what they can do in the league as well.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of good performances. Not the result we wanted for sure. Not the performance that we needed, and definitely didn't want to go out the cup. So, but this is a challenge of balancing it. And now we, like you say, we get through on the EFL Trophy, which is good news. And now we need to get back to league action. And like you say, when there's injuries and people miss out, if you like, through that, it gives people the opportunity to show what they can do.
And obviously with the FA Cup exit, that means that Dariqua will not be here. So it gives you a chance to shake things up defensively as well. Yeah,
so Tendai, with his red card, misses this next one, which is disappointing for everybody because he's been flying. But like you say, then it's another opportunity for somebody else to fit in there.
Lincoln City tend to stand out on quite a few stats. Possession is obviously the one that we always stat. But as a head coach, what are the stats telling you about areas that the team are doing well and areas that you want to improve on?
Well, we want to improve on every stat, even possession. Every coach in the country wants the ball because you can't score a goal without the ball. But the reality is there's an opposition trying to take it off you at the same time. So stats only look at what you're doing, don't they? And it's important to understand that there's two teams trying to fight it out here. So we've got some really good stats going. So we've got some, we're still creating chances. We're still threatening. We're looking at how we bypass defenders. Transition stats, our defensive record is strong. So if you were to take the stats into, in the round, we've got some really good things. But we need to keep improving them then. And we know the stats that probably get you out this league aren't necessarily possession, aren't necessarily certain aspects that everybody thinks. We're okay with the stats things. We just need to take our chances when it comes, and I think making sure we keep solid at the back. And the reality is, you can have as many stats as you want in between the both boxes, but it's the both boxes that count.
We know football trends are almost cyclical. Is it about trying to find what the next stat is to try and get ahead of the curve and be ahead of your opposition all the time?
I think it's. If stats could play the game, we'd all be robots, wouldn't we? So I think there's a reality to it that it's human beings playing against human beings, and whether that's a trend we look for, whether that's, I think what we try and do all the time as coaching staff, and the coaching staff are brilliant at this, is trying to maximise who we have in the group and how we put them in positions where they can excel, and how we can get threats against the opposition. So, sometimes one game will require one thing and one game requires another thing. I don't think. The challenge with stats is you look at that over a longitudinal time, where every game requires something different. So changes require something different from one game to the next. And it's really, and that can be personnel, that can be tactical changes, but over a longer period of time, you can gather your stats. So I think the game's always changing. I've never seen anything different. Many years ago, sports science was a huge thing, and that came in, and now we've got more stats coming into it and insight, and we'll get more coming in. Now AI will come in. So I just think it's the nature of any industry. Everything keeps improving. We need to make sure that we concentrate on the ones we want to concentrate on to keep improving ourselves.
And like you mentioned, there's always the human side to it, isn't there? Football and stats can't account for a 93rd minute equaliser like last weekend, or the type of game that it's going to be this weekend against Rotherham.
Yeah, it's emotion, isn't it? It's emotion, it's human beings, it's people make errors. Teams will play in a certain way so they don't make any errors, and sometimes teams will play in a more open way so that accounts for more errors. Individual errors, all the things that we love and hate about the game is why we love it, really, because it brings that emotion. I think without the emotion, we wouldn't have a game that we all love and enjoy. So we need to keep improving. We need to keep pushing in every direction we can, and stats help us with that, and the insight helps us with that. But the reality is we've got some great characters at Lincoln City, some great players who really love the club and really love the badge, really connected with the fans, who make a massive difference, when they're supporting the team and behind the team. And you can feel that when when we're at the Sinsel Bank, you can feel the atmosphere there compared to maybe an away game at Salford, where the atmosphere is not quite the same, but that's the reality. That has an impact on emotion as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting back going. It's going to be a tough game on Saturday against Rotherham.
Obviously, the players have had a week off, albeit that might not have gone completely to plan with a couple of injuries picked up. Rotherham, however, have had a match in between, so I suppose that gives you the upper hand going into this match.
Yeah, in some ways. Again, like it should do physically in some ways, but in other ways, again, when you call a game off for an international break, people always say, is it better to keep it going or not going? The reality is no one really knows. But with the physical side of it this week, we should have the upper hand because we know physically we've not had the game they've had, so hopefully we can make that pay. But like anything, they might make changes, they might not, and freshen it up. So it makes it trickier to try and guess what team they're going to play as well. So there's lots of different elements that go into it, but we're excited. We need to concentrate on ourselves. That's the reality. We need to keep focused on ourselves because we want to get a job done and try and get 3 points.
They're unbeaten in 5 and obviously showed great spirit to get that draw midweek against Burton. So they're going to be difficult to beat, especially at home, aren't they?
Yeah, they've lost once this year at home to Stockport, who obviously know people are top and a top team. So they're really good at home. I went to watch them Tuesday night live, and they stuck in, they dig deep, and they got back in the game. And they're a really tough team to play against, especially away from home and at their place. It's going to be a tough place to go. But we want to get 3 points, and I think they're unbeaten in 5 now in the league, and probably more so in all competitions. But it's a challenge for us, but we think we've got enough to go and get something out of the game.